Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. Happy and excited to have this wonderful opportunity, to come to you today and lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural, normal, and necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you reveal it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout good morning, because mourning is a good thing. Thank you so very much for joining us on today as we dare to prepare to dive into our grief devotion. Today is day 254. Thank y'all for coming back for some more. We're going to talk about I can't do everything. I can't do everything. Let's talk about it, y'all. When I expect too much of myself, my grief can become overwhelming. When I expect too much of myself, my grief can become overwhelming. Whatever I can do today is enough. There's always tomorrow. And if there's not, that's okay too. When I expect too much from myself, my grief can become overwhelming. Whatever I can do today is enough. One word that I want you to understand as you navigate through this grief journey, very important word that I've come to love it and embrace it and live by it. It's a very important word. That word is capacity. Capacity. You have to understand your capacity, what you are able to handle, what you are able to take on, what you are able to endure. You have to understand your capacity. I love when I think of capacity, I don't have none around me right now, but I love to think of it like in terms of cups and jars and containers, right? Or even if you look at Starbucks, right? Let's use Starbucks. They have the tall, the grande, and the venti size, right? And one is, I don't know the ounces. I don't know if one is 8 and one is 12 and one is 18. I don't know the ounces. But each cup has a different level of capacity, right? That the tall can only take so much, right? The grande can take more, but it can only take so much. The venti cup, oh, it can take even more, but it can only take so much, right? And a lot of times when it's filled to capacity, right, there's going to be an overflow. If you pour over that, it's going to overflow. The thing about grief is you got to know your capacity, right? Because you can only take so much. You can only endure so much. With this new thing that you're wrestling with in your life, the loss, the change, the transition that you're contending with, that you're dealing with, what you're going through mentally and emotionally, and everything that you're taking on, it changes your capacity and your ability to handle, or to juggle, or to contend with, or to deal with whatever you have going on in life, right? And so now, because the things have changed, you may become overwhelmed more, right? That you may not have the capacity. Things that you were doing before the death, you can't go back. You might not be able to go back and do, right? Projects were too high profile. You were too involved, or you were doing so many other things, right? That now you don't have the capacity, you don't have the space to continue in all of that stuff. And so what you might have to do is take a step back. What you really have to do is know your capacity, know what you can handle, know what you can do, right? I remember when my best friend Marlon died, and he was a member of the church, and his wife, she was running our children's church. And so after the funeral and all that type stuff, coming back, and I said, "Yeah, you know you about to sit down, don't you? You know you're not going back in there." "Oh, I'm fine." "No, no, no." "Oh, no, you're not." I don't want you to have to worry about teaching and lesson plans, organize all of this type stuff. So just chill for a season. Sit down for a season, right? When you feel like you're ready, let me know that we can have another discussion. But I knew even then, capacity, and when you're taking on other things, when you're wrestling with now the loss of an individual, right? What you don't need is more responsibilities piled up on you, right? You got to give yourself time and opportunity to breathe, to process, to navigate through what you're going through, right? So you got to know your capacity. Let me ask you this: what's your capacity? Because we're talking about mentally and emotionally. We're talking about financially, right? For some of you who may have lost a spouse, or you lost lost somebody that affected your income. So now the income dynamic has changed, and you may not be able to maintain the lifestyle you had before they transition. So financially, what's your capacity? Physically, what's your capacity? There's more of a burden on you, right? And so you don't have the energy because now you're doing what two people had to do. You're covering these responsibilities and those responsibilities, right? So you have to know your capacity, You got to know when your battery is drained. You have to know when you're running low. You have to know, and this is a day-to-day basis. Sometimes you may feel energized, sometimes you may not, right? Sometimes you may have the strength to do it. Sometimes you may not. Sometimes you may have the strength to do it, and it could be an hour before, and all of a sudden you don't have the strength to do it. You woke up that morning optimistic. I'm gonna go ahead and go, and an hour before you like, I'm not feeling it, right? Know your capacity, and this is what's important, y'all. Know your capacity, and don't expect too much of yourself because your grief can become overwhelming. Whatever you can do today, that's enough. Whatever you can't do, guess what? There's always tomorrow. And if there's not, guess what? That's okay too. It's okay. If it don't get done, it's okay. There are certain things you try. I gotta do this. I gotta do laundry. I gotta do this. I gotta do this over there. I gotta run into it. Look, you might not have the capacity for all of that. And if you don't have the capacity, guess what? That's okay. If it doesn't get done, right? That's okay. This is what you got to know and understand. So many of us, we try to go back to normal. We try to go back to the way it was. We try to operate. We try to function the same way we did before they left. The dynamics have changed, right? The dynamics have changed. And no matter how much you try to fight and go back to it, you may not be able to. And check this out. That's okay, right? Check this out. Seasons change. Seasons change. I'm telling you now, I'm about to be 47, right? Back in the day, yeah, I could run off of 2 hours of sleep. Get on, stay up half the night. Let me crash for 2 hours. Get up fully energized, run back into the day and do it all over again. Can't do that no more, right? Why? Because seasons have changed. I used to be able to go. I never forget. This was a few years ago. I went to the YMCA and they was playing ball. I'm like, let me play. Let me run with these young people. Yeah, I got next. Let me run, play ball with these young people. Let me tell you something. I was breathing so hard, and my heartbeat was, my throat was in my chest was in my throat, my throat was burning, and I thought they was gonna have to call an ambulance for me. Right? I quickly realized, right, what I was trying to do now at 43 and 44. Guess what? I didn't. Seasons change, that I didn't have the capacity now that I had when I was 15 and 16 and 20 and seasons change. Seasons change. Our capacity changes. And as you navigate through this loss, change, this transition, guess what? Your seasons change. Your capacity has changed. And don't try to take on the responsibility of doing everything that you used to do. You may not have the capacity. Check this out, y'all. My choices, here it is, my choices are limitless, but my time here on earth is not. As long as I am present to my love, my grief, and my life each day, I'm doing what I can. In fact, through conscious presence, I am actually doing much more than I do on days when I'm mindlessly doing too much. Y'all hear this? My choices are limitless. My time on earth, not so much. As long as I'm present to my love, my grief, and my life each day. As long as you are present to your love, you are present to your grief, you are present to your life each day. I'm doing what I can. Do what you can. That's it. Know your capacity, right? Don't push it beyond that limit. Here it is. Here's the final thought, y'all. I am here to be, not to do. I am here to be, not to do. You are supposed to be a human being, not a human doing, right? I am here to be and not to do. I want you to recognize the sensitivity of the season that you're in. I want you to know your capacity. Don't push yourself beyond the limit. If you need to sit down, sit down. If you need to take a break, take a break. If you can't make it, you can't make it. If it doesn't get done, guess what? It doesn't get done, and that's okay. You have to know, you have to understand, you have to be aware of your capacity. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 254. Thank you for coming back for some more and realizing that I can't do everything. Period. I can't. I don't have the capacity to do everything. And guess what? That's okay. Talk to me, y'all. Y'all got any questions, comments this morning? I'm here for them. Questions, comments, I'm here for them. I appreciate y'all joining us. Today is day 254. It's our 254th consecutive day of coming together to participate in our grief devotion. Hey, Lalicia Jordan, this is so deep and real. Yes, Lalicia, know your capacity. Thank you, Pastor Duncan. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Good morning, Miss Hutchins Chandler. It's good to see you, Renee. Good morning, Anna Mason Moore. Know your capacity. Know your capacity. Don't push yourself beyond your limit. I tell people this all the time. Take a break before you break. Take a break before you break. Things are different, things have changed, and that's okay. You want to navigate through this season with sensitivity. You want to navigate through this season with love and compassion, with patience for yourself. Know your capacity. Don't push yourself beyond it. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all with the love of the Lord. I'm my worst enemy. Come on, Stacia. What you doing? What you doing to yourself? We are. We can be our worst enemy, right? No, give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace and the space that you need, right? To navigate through, right? Uh-uh. Chill out. When I push myself, I usually bring in a full-blown panic attack. Exactly. Thank you for sharing that, Lalicia, because I'm pretty sure other people may experience the same. When you push yourself, you spill over. That's like the cup analogy. If it only has the capacity to take 8 ounces, but you try to put 10 ounces in an 8 ounce cup, it's gonna spill over, right? And that's what a panic attack is. You're spilling over. It's too much. I'm overwhelmed. Now I'm being attacked. My body, everything is turning over because I'm overwhelmed, right? And you don't want to put yourself in that position. So you got to learn to set boundaries. You got to learn to say no. You got to know your capacity. The older I get, the better I get at this. I know my capacity, and I don't have a problem with saying no. No, right? Because I'm going to choose me and my emotions. I'm going to choose me. If I say yes to you, I'm saying no to me. When I know my capacity, and I got to be good to me, I can't be good to nobody else if I'm not good to me first. So it's no, right? Establish those boundaries, know your capacity. So why is this happening to me? Like today is Tuesday. I have grief classes at 6:30 in Arizona. I go lay down bed. I don't want to go to the grief class. Yeah, sometimes you feel that way. And there's sometimes, and I don't know, for the grief class, I know it may be more, it's going to be instrumental more than detrimental, maybe beneficial, right? I don't know if you're just feeling like that for this moment, right? Sometimes we do push ourselves because we know we're going to be better, right? And so in that particular instance, this is something that's going to help you with what you're dealing with, right? And so yeah, you may have to push your way, right? Good morning, Pastor. Brothers and sisters, know your capacity and don't allow others to make you feel guilty for operating in your capacity. Thank you, Pamela Michelle, for adding that. Absolutely. Don't allow other people to make you feel guilty for operating in your capacity. No. You teach people how to treat you, and don't let them guilt trip you into feeling guilty for knowing your capacity, right? Because they're not you. They don't know. They don't know what you're dealing with. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know the makeup of what you're experiencing and what you're navigating through now. You do, right? You know. And so you have to have boundaries. You got to say no. You know your body, right? You know your mind. You know your emotions. You know your spirit. You know where you are. You know when you about to spill over. You know when you don't have the capacity to do something, right? And so that's so very important. Don't let people make you feel guilty. Thank you for sharing that because it's so true. I'll be having anxiety attacks. I'll be throwing up the next day on Wednesday morning. Can't get out of bed. Yes. I mean, it can get just that bad, right? And so that's what knowing your capacity does. So even when you feel it coming on, right? And even if you got to back out of certain stuff, there's nothing wrong with going back. I know I said yes. I know I committed, but at this time, I can't, right? And I apologize, but you're gonna have to work it out. No, it is a complete sentence. You hear me? No is an entire sentence. It is a complete sentence. Learn how to say no without always giving an explanation. We feel like we gotta give an explanation to understand whether you understand it or not, right? I can't help that. So it's so very important. You got to take care of you and be good to you. I'm working on drawing boundaries. Animation more is so very important. You got to have boundaries. Yes. Work on drawing those boundaries, right? Work on drawing those boundaries. And if anybody that threatens the boundary, boundaries are there for a reason, right? They are there for a reason. When you're driving in a car, there's boundary lines in the middle of the road. They're there for a reason to keep you from crossing over, right? And so boundary, because it can be accident, it can be detriment, it can be bad, right? So boundaries are there for a reason, right? So you have to set them, you have to put them in place. And the boundaries are designed to protect you. The boundaries are designed to protect you, right? It's not necessarily, yeah, I'm not trying to keep y'all out no, it's designed to protect me. I know my boundaries. I establish these boundaries to keep me safe. I establish these boundaries to keep me at a place to where I can function fully, to where I can be the best version of myself. So I'm putting these boundaries in place, not even necessarily for you, but for me, right? And I'm sticking to them because I know if I cross this line, I know if I allow this to happen, it's not going to be good. So we got to definitely put that in place. I love it. Thank y'all. Good conversation today. I appreciate y'all. Good dialogue. Good dialogue. Let's continue. Yo, let's continue to go. Let's continue to move forward. Remember, y'all, small steps lead to great distances. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed. Is going to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, day by day. So I've been walking with you now for 2 years, right? This is our second year doing this. So it's day by day. And I hope and pray that you've been able to grow. I hope and pray that you've been able to take what we provide through this devotion and apply it to your life. And I hope that you've been able to make some small steps along your grief journey, because those small steps are going to take you a long way. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Hope and pray y'all have a terrific Tuesday. Join us tomorrow, same time, same place, for another Good Morning Grief Devotion. Let's go.